This one goes to all of you who feel deep inside that you are a healer. You're a spiritual healer. And a spiritual healer is someone whose presence, whose love, whose energy has a healing effect on others. It may happen through conversations, it may happen through creating something meaningful, or it can happen through touch, like people love to be around you. And many times people like that are in the world. They sometimes feel like strangers in the chaotic world. And I want to talk to those of you who feel, or maybe you've been questioning, am I a spiritual healer? Am I here placed on this planet with a very specific purpose? And maybe you don't have a clear answer to it, but deep inside you feel that there is something, there's a attraction towards this kind of mystical information, and you never knew why, but you always were connected with it. Most probably to those of you who are watching this video or who came across this video have something like kind of an attraction to this kind of information, and there's a reason why you feel this way. So firstly, let me welcome you into this magnificent forest. Quite a beautiful place to be. And I want to talk to you about healers. Well, healer is someone who's not fixing, but remembering rather who he or she is. And that's how we heal, right? Healing doesn't happen by fixing something. It happens by remembering and recognizing who we are, so then we can embody this pure presence, this essence of, truthfulness that often just comes through us in a very unique way. And usually it surprises us when we start acknowledging it and embracing it. So how can you know that you are a spiritual healer? Well, you can know that you're a spiritual healer because firstly you are attracted towards spirituality. You're attracted towards kind of deeper topics that are usually, way below the surface. And you're interested into how the mind works. So you will naturally go into psychology. You're interested into emotionality. So you will naturally go into certain type of psychiatrical teachings, if that's the word. Is that the word? Help me, my friends. You will naturally go into the nature of the soul. What is the soul? Well, soul is a psyche, and psyche is like a butterfly. It's constantly transforming. So you're interested into transformation. You don't want to be stuck in life. You don't want to hold on to things. You like to have quite of a fluid life, traveling a lot, exploring new things, studying a lot, meeting new people, and meeting ancient cultures and things like that. Everything that connects the dots and brings some of these memories back to the surface. If that is you, you're most probably a spiritual healer. So welcome, my friend, welcome here. I never considered myself as a healer, but I always felt I'm quite a creative person. And when I've started making art and sharing my paintings with the world, as many of you know, I'm a painter as well, besides doing all of this, people started coming to me and saying, your art is so healing. I look at it and it feels like it healed me in some way. Sometimes, people start crying when they look at my art, or sometimes even if they're closed down, maybe going through something, they look at my art and then they open up and then they become very deep, and then we have these deep conversations. So I've noticed, well, my art is healing. and it helps people to open up. So I've recognized there is not just one way to heal others. There's many different ways. And therefore, healing is not just like what some people are doing, Reiki healing, or some people are doing therapists and psychologists, or some people are doctors and healing other people this way. Healing can happen in many different ways. So to know that you're a healer means that you're deeply attracted towards certain type of self-expression. And it must come from the soul. It's not like seeing someone on the Instagram and you're like, I want to do it as well. Well, usually it starts this way. But then if it's the real thing, if it's really your fire, that inspiration was ignited maybe by someone else, but then it never ended. That's something that happened to me when I quitted my last job. I felt inspired to start painting. And as I've started painting, it never stopped. It led me to this YouTube channel. It led me to kind of broaden up my self-expression and make it more valuable. And you know, art is usually more visual, like paintings are more visual. I often receive messages when I finish a painting, so I've recognized there's so much more to my journey. And that's why I wanted to start sharing messages that come together with my art and guidance and all of this. So to know that you are a healer here on this planet means that you're deeply drawn toward a certain type of a self-expression. And self-expression truly means expression of the self. The self is you, the essence. So what does it mean? Well, it means that you have quite a rich history. And in many spiritual teachings, you come across this knowledge that this lifetime is not the only lifetime you've been through. So one proof for the previous lifetimes often shows up as in terms of skills and wisdom that you carry deep within that often has no normal explanation. Like you can start a certain endeavor that that just called you and immediately you became very good at it. It means that most probably somewhere in your previous lives you've been already doing that. This is according to ancient teachings. And when you start noticing these kind of aspects of you that are so profound and so meaningful and so rewarding when you're doing it, that's when you notice that it's maybe not just you, like it's not your identity, it's not your persona that you're really working on. It's something deeper. And you know it's something deeper because you lose yourself in doing it. So if you have found something where you kind of lose yourself in doing it, you know it's healing because it heals you. Right? It heals you when you're doing it. And I can tell you that because when I've started doing this work, I've started changing so much. Like my mental clarity started emerging. I've started to feel more comfortable and confident and stronger and more grounded. And I've started noticing so much of myself is just, you know, coming back together. Like all these pieces of the puzzle that were a bit shattered are now coming back together. And I've started noticing that while this healing journey is truly about healing yourself, and as you heal yourself, you've already walked a path that made your story quite interesting. And then in that story of yours, you find out certain very unique skills and gifts and talents and responsibilities. They just feel to you unique and important, and that's something we usually want to share with others. And that's where we turn our healing onto or into an ability to heal others. So how can you tell then that you are a spiritual healer as well? Well, most probably you've been through a tough journey. You've been through quite some tough events in your life. And if you've been through tough events in your life, then it means you've started looking for healing. You've only started looking for healing because you were aware that you need healing, right? So you already have quite of an awareness that most people don't have because they haven't chosen to wake up to this kind of awareness because, well, firstly, it's painful. It's not really nice to go through a certain process of diving into your own pain and misery and sometimes depression to heal the sources of it, right? So it requires courage, which means you must have a courageous heart to be a healer, right? But if you had a tough past and you've decided to move through the process of healing, there's most probably a certain type of a call that pulled you onto this path. And this call often feels like kind of an inspiration into a life of service, a life of meaning, a life of connection with other souls, other beings, other people, because you want to share what you've gained, what you've learned. And that is quite a profound journey, isn't it? Many of you are at this point. I'm seeing this kind of people so many times, and I'm receiving messages like this when, people write me, I've just started painting, and they send me photos of their art, and their art is so incredible. Like, they say, I've just started painting, but their art is like they've been painting for years. And sometimes there are such profound messages from people who are not really studying spirituality or any of that, but they just have a very profound wisdom. When we meet this kind of people and we feel their presence already heals us, right? It grounds us. So if you would describe yourself like a person to whom people around you love to come to you and open up to you, your presence is healing. If you're recognizing that many times you just have solutions for someone who's going through something tough, it means your presence is healing. Your mind works in solution-oriented thinking, which means you are here to help guide other people in some way. And all you need to discover is what kind of path feels the most natural to you. When I say natural, I don't mean the easiest path. No. The most natural means what really speaks to your nature. So when I've started walking on this path, I've started drawing, and it led into painting, and it led into making this video. So it all felt natural, even though it was quite far from easy. Like finding a way to monetize my art, finding a way to monetize my talents and gifts so I can make a living out of doing what really speaks to me. It was quite a journey. And many times you just don't resonate with an advice of superficial people. So usually, well, at least when I've started, I couldn't find many people who were doing something I was interested in. So I need to do my own studies to find out what works for me and what truly resonates with me. So once I found it out, I've started teaching others how to do that. And I've recognized it's already, another challenge that turned into breakthrough, that turned into a light for someone else. So I've noticed, well, maybe all the breakdowns we experience in life are truly invitations into our purpose. Therefore, we shouldn't avoid anything, and that's something you already know as a healer. If you feel like for most of your life you've been a bit different, not in any, arrogant or egoistic way, but you've been different in terms of what's interesting to you, what called you, what was speaking to you. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was watching movies and I was able to feel the subtle hidden messages in certain stories that most people would never recognize. People were like, oh, it was like great effects and incredible cinematic experience, and I was all about the depth of the story, and if the story was not deep enough, I was not interested into a movie. When I was reading books, I was always looking for the deep wisdom, even way before I was on this journey, what I'm doing now. So I've recognized my mind was always looking for the depth. And if you find yourself like that, it's most probably that you are a healer. You are most probably also very deeply connected with your intuition, and you may, intuitively feel the energy. Energy doesn't lie. You know that in all the matter, within the matter, there's energy, and energy never lies. So when you look around you, you see a manifestation of energy. So you're deeply interested into transforming energy, transmuting energy, alchemizing energy, so you can experience more profound reality. For you, when you experience how manifestation works, the art of manifestation, the art of alchemy, how it works, you want to teach that onto others. So this is usually how this process works. It's same as in any other endeavor. Like, you become good in sports, and some athletes want to become coaches for others. Other athletes want to teach what they've learned in sport in maybe business then later, like mental toughness and discipline and self-control and all of that. So it's same here, just that it's different, that it's deeper. So if you feel like you are a spiritual healer, I want to say to you to embrace yourself, to embrace your unique energy. Don't hide yourself, because it may be a bit harder to function in the world where no one understands what you're into. But don't be discouraged to really study and explore what pulls you the most. Philosophers call this the life task. So you must discover what is your life task. And one way to discover what is your life task is to ask yourself what you truly love to do, what you're truly interested in, then what you're good at, what you're naturally good at, then what you want to become better, like you really want to master something. These three things should already align in some way. And then you may also ask yourself if there would be no limits, like no financial limits, no time limits, no restrictions, anything. How would you like to contribute to others? How would you like to be of service to others? That's where you discover your life task. Because when you dive deep, you recognize usually it's fear, it's anger, it's something suppressed inside of you that is blocking you from fully embracing yourself. But when you embrace yourself, it means you are now looking deep into your own anger, into your own judgments, into your own frustrations, into your own all different negative emotions, and you're not stopped by them anymore. I've recognized in my life that one way to really heal negative emotions is to not react to them. So I may feel a sense of shame because maybe I have a bit lower energy. So I will feel a sense of shame from the past, and then I will start blaming myself for something, or I will start sensing like judgment towards myself. I will start negatively criticizing myself. But when this happens, I will not react to it. I will not believe to these sensations. I will know this is from my past because I know myself from the past, right? So I have quite a compassion towards myself. But then anyway, I do what I have intended to do that day. That's how I've recognized this is the most healing to me, because that's how I rewire my brain, that even though I feel certain type of emotions, I can still create a new pattern where I do what I said to myself that I will do despite how I feel. So I've noticed, okay, when certain emotions don't stop me anymore, I don't need them anymore, because I feel safe in being myself rather than in being safe. So when you find out that you can be safe in being yourself, that there is no actual danger in being yourself, because, well, what can hurt you when you fully embrace yourself? Many things can hurt your ego, but nothing can hurt your soul, because in soul you're divinely guided and protected, and it's not something mental. You must experience it within. You must fully embrace that who you are is everything you can be. Who you are is all you can be. So therefore, there's no mistakes in you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is something you're slowly embracing. And more you embrace it, it doesn't mean to be perfect in any kind of a way. You will never be perfect, because perfection is a state of becoming. It's not a finished state. You are never perfect. You are only better than you were. So the only perfection is actually becoming, the state of becoming. And as long as you're living your life in a state of becoming more healed, becoming more creative, becoming more integrated, becoming wiser, becoming more playful, becoming more anything that you feel driven to be, because life is an expansion. It's a constant movement and expansion. Well, it's expansion and then contraction. It's both. That's why you have times of expansion, and then you have times when you move away a little bit and you rest and rejuvenate. So it's actually both. But to those of you healers out there, know that it's okay if you feel like you are not ready, or you feel like you're not good enough, you're not trained enough, or you're not wise enough. It's usually how this programming and conditioning from the past is trying to keep you safe. That's how your ego tries to keep you safe. But there's always this deep, soulful pull into expansion. Trust it, my friend, because that feeling will never leave you. That feeling will never leave you. Trust it, because it will take you far. And I'm speaking from my heart right now, because it took me far in life. And there's so much more to explore, right? There's so much more to explore. So be brave, my friend. Be brave. Know that you are wise, and every time you look within, if you are patient enough to find quietness, you will also find clarity, and clarity will tell you what to do. So then embrace it and become that lighthouse for others. Yeah, become the lighthouse for others. I will leave you here. I hope you found great value today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. And I want to say big thanks to everyone for supporting my art. Well, if you go on AttractPassion.com and find a painting that speaks to you, it's most probably that it has something to give you. So put it at your place, be supported by it. That's how you create your space the most supportive for the transformation you're on. To surround yourself with the energy that encourages you rather than discourages you, right? So check it out, which one speaks to you, and big thanks for your support. And also, Welcome all to join our Patreon community for more exclusive content, a new podcast that is only available there. So go and check it out, and till next time, one love.